Money laundering. It's like an onion. The more you peel, the more it gets deep into the actual to the banking system. And when you're doing this much movement, you're getting protection from a government. And this individual, 48-year-old Lee, leader of money laundering network responsible for laundering millions of dollars in drug proceeds. That's we all know that, but um, he actually he was actually hands on. He was not the main guy. The main guy is never mentioned in the actual sentencing or the indictment. Um, Somebody with deep pockets is going to be funding this, and if you're funding this, you're not getting you're not hands on. Um, it could be done in many ways, and I'm going to just go over a few today. But let's go over is this actual individual's scheme, okay? To carry out the scheme, Lee and his conspirators used a foreign casino, foreign and domestic front companies, foreign and domestic bank accounts, some of which were opened under fictitious identities, encrypted communications platforms, and false identification documents. Fake passports, fake everything, fake documents were involved in this actual scheme. Okay, they got him red-handed. They got him with a lot of money because he forfeited $10 million. Okay, so just to give you a clue of how many countries were involved: the Philippines, Mexico, Indonesia, Peru, United States, um, Guatemala, Belize. I mean, you name it, they were all over the place. And that's what you want to do. You want to set up fictitious companies under fictitious um, products. So that way you be able to launder money. And I'm going to be going over a few of them right now. And as good as the government has the upper hand of technology and stuff, they don't really have the upper hand for the fact that these actual cartels, they actually drug cartels, and they hire the best too. I mean, their business is to launder that money, make it good, make that money good, and you have to have businesses um, to actually exploit loopholes in the world's legal and financial systems for their goals, and they get paid well. They get paid with money, companion, vacation, travel. They will become their number one asset, and they will protect that number one asset at all costs. And one scheme would be actually collecting the money, the hard cold cash, and taking it down south and setting it right back up through a financial institute through armored trucks. These armored trucks will come across the border through a commercial entry, and they will declare the actual funds already in their actual banking system, therefore converted into pesos or whatever currency that they wanted to actually convert it to. And that, for a bank, that is not uncommon. It's an everyday actual business. They cross through commercial from Mexico into the United States. Don't forget, because it's a port of entry commercial, it does not mean that they're there just for contraband. No, this is an actual business. This is an actual financial business that makes the economy, go around. A different way is through tourism. Now, don't forget that these cruise liners, these ships, they go into ports into Mexico, and tourists buy. They actually buy souvenirs. And if you can get a brand, say for example, a surf shop, if you can get a brand legally imported into Mexico under tariffs, you can do a lot of actual money laundering for the fact that these stores are going to be full every time the ship docks. As soon as they port, he's going to be in the main street. They're going to be using cold hard cash that they either traded, exchange on the ship or off the ship. I don't know if they can exchange on the ship, but and that's the another way that they could actually legitimize because you're importing. So therefore, there's money going back and forth from your actual from your vendors, from whatever country you're actually acquiring these um, souvenirs, and they could be very well named brands too. So all these surfing actual companies that supply surfboards and clothing, very fruitful in actual money laundering. And to go back on that money actual transaction with the armored trucks, it has to be imported into Mexico. It has to be smuggled in. So, um, for example, let's just throw this out there. You can actually load up a vehicle with $1 million and pay that driver $1,000 to cross it and turn it into a destination and just forget about it. The risk is low, but you're also dealing with $1 million on your person. So, and there's no thought of stealing that money. You cannot. Okay. Um, you will pay for consequences dearly. You know, I mean, if somebody got killed over 3 pounds of meth, you think $1 million is not going to get you killed? Exactly right. So, they'll outfit these actual sedans, and everyday people cross daily to go to work. They commute, get up a very commute time. Who's going to actually question you? And it's not that common to have southbound team working at the border. They'll set up shop once in a while, but they're not 24 hours controlling southbound traffic. And Mexico is very picky, and they're very strict on imports. Um, China, if that, they have a very low percent of actual imports. Mexico can produce your actual uh, products that you can sell on at the stores or import it through NAFTA, through not NAFTA, but through the Americas uh, at a much cheaper price than having China set up shop and trade. I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't happen. It didn't happen before, but now they eased up a little bit to a minimum. So what you can do is actually order garments from the United States and sell it down south. And by the way, there are high-end stores in Culiacan, by the way. There's Guess. I mean, any kind of name brand that you actually want to acquire, they do have a store down there. And it's not cheap. It's not cheap at all. And if you ever been to Culiacan and you want to actually exchange money or retrieve money from the bank, they're taking all your information down just to exchange money at the bank. Yeah, they monitor that quite quite heavily for the common people, right? And so that's a couple of ways you can actually import your actual um, your garments, and then at the same time, wash that money for businesses. And of course, they have individuals set up throughout the United States with little bank accounts of business, like a little, like they say a hair ribbon business, a homemade hair ribbon business that could be very successful. That could be used as a solid money laundering actual business. Okay, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe.